Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Your hosts, Adham, Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate, as always, live, woodwardsports.com on a Tuesday morning. It is cold in Detroit, as always.
Supposed to get snow on Thursday. Not excited for that.
I'm not excited for that at all. I'm not much of a winter guy, to be honest with you. I've lived here all my life, but, you know.
You just can't seem to adjust. Like me. Every year,
I don't think it's about adjusting. I think as a Detroiter, or just really a Michigander, you just get used to it. You just wake up, you're in a fucking bad mood, you're like, God damn it. Even if I start the car, I'm still going to freeze my ass off for the 13 seconds it takes me to get there.
Right.
Then it takes like another 2-3 minutes for your ass to get warm. Like, it's a whole thing, man. You know, even if you start your car, it doesn't matter.
No.
Here we are.
It doesn't.
Hey, sounds like a you problem.
You know, Fish, fuck you. I wasn't talking to you.
It probably is, Fish.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's a lovely Tuesday morning.
Why don't you have a seat?
Do you want me to sit?
Yes.
Okay, I'll sit.
How was your weekend?
Huh? Look how short I am. I gotta move this up.
It's okay.
I feel like a midget now.
You can't say that. How was your weekend?
I feel short.
Thank you. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was a very good weekend. There was a game that happened on Sunday that 4 billion people watched.
Yep.
And
I'm aware.
I just want to make sure. And I think the Lions won. Red Wings sadly lost yesterday. But, you know, you move Pistons tonight. Go Pistons. They're going to win
they're
at them.
They're going to lose too. Don't worry. It's not getting any prettier. Shockingly, the Lions are the bright spot of this town at the moment.
They are. They're going to make the playoffs.
Wings on a losing streak. The Pistons just suck. Dwayne Casey broke my fucking heart the other night, so we don't need to talk about that.
How about that game last night? The Packers?
I told you, there was no way I'd ever root against the Packers last night. It was not going to happen under any circumstances. There was conversation going around here in the building yesterday of, well, you know, like, it'd be nice to see the Packers just be totally out of it. And
that was me. I would agree with that sentiment.
And I disagree completely. Give me the fucking draft pick. Let the Rams lose as much as they can. And it wasn't just you. Literally everybody was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, the Packers, we got to go to Lambeau at the end of the year. They might be 8-8. They might, you know, take away our playoff spot. It's like, I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah. It's trending that way. I mean, you're going to have a game at the end of the year that's probably going to decide who goes to the playoffs. Because assuming the Packers, you know, win the rest of their games up until that game. And that doesn't make me excited. It does not. Because Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau, I don't give a damn if we beat them already. It's not comfortable.
Look, the Packers play the Dolphins and the Vikings before they go and host the Detroit Lions. So they got work ahead of them. They've got work.
Two fraudulent teams, to be honest with you. Hopefully they can beat them.
Here's what we're going to do. It's story time.
We're
going to start the show off with a story. And it's a story about a team that went into this season with, I would say, hopeful expectations. Nothing too extreme, nothing impossible. But, hey, improvement, right? Some of the words that were being thrown out, including by me. Improvement, player development. You know, winning 7, 8 games, possibly 9, depending on how good your coaching staff is. A lot of belief in Ben Johnson. A lot of belief in Aaron Glenn going into the offseason. A lot of belief in Dan Campbell that maybe in year 2 he would rein it back a little bit, learn from his mistakes year 1, and you wouldn't have these issues. And through 7 games of the year, everything was going against you. Everything was going against you. You couldn't stop making the wrong calls. After call, after call. Players were hurt, constantly injured, starting games, leaving early. Complicated first 7 games. And then this team, somehow, some way, finds a way to pull 6 of 7 together. And to me, I find that to be one of the most incredible turnarounds, probably since the Wayne Fontes Lions won 7 in a row, I believe. And they started 3-7. No, they started 3-6. They finished 10-7. This is insane to me. And whether or not the Lions make the playoffs, to be honest, Jeff, I don't care. They have earned, in my opinion, they have earned the, quote, the patient rebuild. And what I mean by patient is, next year, I'm on board with them winning the division next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good football team.
Most Lions fans are.
It's a young football team. The coaches across the board are really having a good 7-8 week stretch here. And now you're winning because you're putting all three phases of the game together: offense, defense, special teams. You're not turning the ball over. We'll get to Jared Goff later on in the show, but he hasn't turned the ball over in 6 games now. 219 consecutive throws without an interception. There's a reason why you're winning games. And again, when you want to sell me, it's like, guys, come on, you're a consumer. I'm going to sell you on a product. How would I do it? I have to convince you. I have to show you that this product will be worth it down the line, or it's a immediate return on investment, whatever it may be. But let's say I'm pitching you on a 3-year plan. Okay. Well, I bought the product. I'm in the first year. Okay, fine. I understand it's a long-term thing. Year two gets off to a horrible start. And you come back and you try to sell me insurance on it. Until you go fuck yourself. But, Jeff, 7 games later, you can sell me that insurance, because this is the football team I think most people expected before the year. Now, did you think they would ever string 6 or 7? Tough to call, really, before the year. But this is the kind of football you expected. Better defense, not great, not top 10, not top 12, but a better defense than last year. A top 10 offense, which it's actually top 5 in the NFL right now. One of the best offensive lines. The ability to run the ball. Set up Jared Goff and play action. And what do you know? You won the game on a play action throw. What a story. From 1-6 to 7-7. They've done a complete 180. And I think they deserve a lot of credit, regardless of if they make the playoffs or not. That is a whole different conversation. They've earned it.
Yeah, it would be a cherry on top at this point. I mean, if they make the playoffs. And those are the expectations, at least I have. I think they can win out. But to say how they got here, it's the credit obviously goes to the players. But more than that, I do want to say, for Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, for these guys, and even Brad Holmes, because he did get criticism, believe it or not. That was real. Those guys weathering the storm. Because that was the big thing early in the year. When you're 1-6, it's hard to sell a product to your fans. That was the big thing. At least we had an issue with, questioning everything. I still believed in Dan Campbell the entire time, but you can't help but watch these games, and you knew they were much better than 1-6. But now 6-1 over the last 7. They've beat good teams. They've played good teams close, like the Bills on Thanksgiving. It's a completely different product. And again, I'm going to keep preaching this. At the time, when Sheila Ford came out and preached patience, it was frustrating to hear at the time. But now looking back, I mean, they were 100% right. Dan Campbell in those press conferences, in players, Jared Goff, repeatedly saying, we're close. We can feel it. We're close. We just got to find a way to make that 1 or 2 extra play to win a game. And now you're seeing it. I mean, they beat the Jets on an extra play, the play to Brock Wright, which essentially won them the game. Even before then, last week against Minnesota, Penei Sewell, the play they drawed up, him in motion, that essentially closed the game. And the defense as well has been closing games. I mean, you bring up the Packers, you bring up even against the Jets, the defense closing games, which wasn't the case early in the year. It was just the offense. So, again, they're clicking on all 3 cylinders. All 3 phases of the football team are a big reason, have a big hand in these wins. Special teams, the defense, and obviously the offense, which we know to be top 5 all year. The patience with Dan Campbell is paid off. And even if they don't make the playoffs, there's still a bright future. I mean, to have a team this young, the 3rd youngest team in the NFL, and to be on really the hottest or one of the hottest winning streaks in the NFL, winning 6 of 7, being one of the hottest teams in football, being in the playoff picture, this is more than most people asked for. Let's be honest. I mean, I picked 8 to 9 wins, but even then, looking at it and how it's, from 1-6 to now, how it's flipped completely, it's impressive. I mean, you got to give all the credit to Dan Campbell and these players for not giving up on him, even when they were 1-6. I think it speaks a lot to his leadership and his coaching ability. So, again, all the praise goes to those guys, really. And the fact that you're 7-7 in a season where we didn't expect to contend for the playoffs. We thought the NFC would be bad, maybe a sneak in a wild card spot, but next year is the year we all mutually agreed they need to go out and contend for the division. You have draft picks. You have money available. You have young players improving. It'll be Dan Campbell's now 3rd year as a head coach. Ben Johnson's 2nd year as an OC. So, guys, next year's the year. But this year, the fact that they're contending for the playoffs, Adam, it's more than most people asked for, and that's all you can ask for. Because it's impressive. Your 2nd year, you go from 3-13 to now 7-7, almost being basically in a playoff picture. You got to win out. But if they go 10-7, they make the playoffs, you're in a position to possibly win a playoff game. I don't know how anybody cannot be bought into what Dan Campbell's doing right now, and Brad Holmes with the Detroit Lions.
1-6, 6-1. I was asking you earlier, which one is it? Right? We'll find out. And I hope it's the latter. I actually tend to agree more so that the Lions' record over this past 7-game stretch is more reflective of their play than the first 7 games of the year.
Absolutely.
Because they were playing very good football, on offense especially. And they were finding ways to lose games, whether it was bad field goal attempts, onside kicks, poor timeouts, poor game management, poor clock management.
Can't force a punt. I mean, there's like...
Not forcing a punt against Seattle, who have fallen apart this year. So, it is difficult to swallow, but hey, here you are. Fish, you told me you were watching a game on Sunday. What'd you think of it?
I was very proud of the performance that we did. I thought we beat the Jets. We didn't murder them, but we beat them good.
I was not talking about the Lions.
You just said Lions.
He said he watched a game on Sunday, the World Cup.
Well, I thought you were referring to Lions.
Well, you're a dipshit, so go ahead and answer the question correctly this time.
You talk about the World Cup?
Yes, sir.
Of course I watched the game.
Is Messi the GOAT? Is Messi the GOAT, Fish?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I'm not a big Ronaldo fan anyway. He's good. I think he's a crybaby. He's similar to Kyrie Irving. He's the Kyrie Irving of soccer.
Adam, is he the Kyrie Irving of soccer?
He's not. No, he's not.
Well,
Fish is a fucking idiot.
He's better than Kyrie Irving, but he's like the crybaby Kyrie Irving, but he's better.
If you were to compare him to an American athlete, it'd be Michael Jordan. What's wrong with you?
Jordan never cried, though.
Oh, I mean, everybody
cried
a
lot.
Everybody cries, man.
Jordan cried a lot and complained a lot.
But you're talking about greatness, yeah. Kyrie Irving probably ain't the one to...
Fish.
Probably.
I don't know why I ever give you a chance. You just disappoint me every time.
Did you watch him when he walked out 5 minutes before the game?
He's 38 years old, and he was benched. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's the best player in the world. Stop it. Jesus Christ. Isaiah Thomas walked off the court early. Do you hate him?
No.
Is he Kyrie Irving? Shut the fuck up.
I do hate Kyrie Irving.
Mute your mic. Jesus Christ. God, Fish. Sometimes, Fish. Sometimes. Like, this close.
Okay.
This close.
What does that mean? Fish, you don't want to find
Let's
out
take
what
a break.
that means.
I've been waiting for a year and a half.
Oh, God. Let's
By the
take a
way,
break.
We have
Shut
the toys.
the hell up, Fish.
Oh, okay.
Shut
You're
the
going to
hell
cut me
up.
off again.
Let's take a break. When we get back, we got a jam-packed show coming up. How serious are the Detroit Lions? Aiden Hutchinson continues to shine. We'll revisit the 2022 NFL Draft. Jared Goff, he gets the spotlight today. His play has been nothing short of impressive. We'll take calls on Jared Goff later on in the show. Top 10 Tuesdays, as always, Jeff and I will release our top 10 teams in the NFL. Dan Campbell having the second highest odds to win Coach of the Year. We got a lot planned for today's show, but before we go, I got to tell you about Cousins Maine Lobster. What better way to get your fix than Cousins Maine Lobster? With 2 trucks rolling around Detroit, you can be sure to find the best lobster rolls, lobster tots, lobster tacos to power through the day. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com, find the schedule, find where they're at, scan that QR code, and we'll see you guys in just a bit.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our Lumberjack, Blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
The official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network. No, it is not fish. It is the butchery. Go to thebutchery.com, or thebutcherysl.com, and place your order today, or give them a call, 248-682-COWS. That's 248-682-COWS. The Butchery meats, eats, and treats. Sandwiches to die for, Wagyu meats, artisan breads, all inspired by the legendary Chef Dave. Like I said, give them a call, 248-682-COWS. What's up, Fish? I prefer you in this booth. I hope you know that.
I did a great job, by the way.
You did an excellent job.
Life.
I am proud of you.
You did, Fish.
And if you want a day, I'll just do everything
But
around
just
here.
do me a favor. Don't compare people to Kyrie Irving.
Well,
unless we don't like them.
I mean,
Did you see what the Pistons? I don't know if it was the announcer, but whoever controls the big board did.
No.
To Kyrie,
they put up Happy Hanukkah on the board when Kyrie was shooting a free throw.
Hold on, Fish. I'm gonna get to it. He was shooting free throws, and they played a spinning globe, and then they played Happy Hanukkah on the
flat Earth and
yeah. While he was
the
shooting free
Hanukkah
throws.
thing I find distasteful, but I think that's a bit much.
It was
the flat
trolling
Earth
the hell.
thing, that's hilarious.
Trolling the hell out of Kyrie.
Hey, it was day one of Hanukkah when they played, so
it was timely.
Well, that makes more sense then.
It's
okay.
like double.
That's fair.
It's like, hey, we're doing it for Hanukkah, but also
then I'm good with it.
Suck it, Kyrie. I love Kyrie Irving, by the way. He's one of my favorite players to watch, but man, he's annoying. Yeah, I love Kyrie. I've always been a fan of Kyrie.
You a Russell Westbrook fan?
No.
That's the key. That's the key to our friendship, Jeff. One of the first things I ask people when I go out on dates, or what I should say when I used to, was I would ask them if they're Russell Westbrook fans. If they would say yes, I'd get up and move on with my life.
Is that a red flag?
That's a red flag for me.
Huge red flag.
Hey, can I ask you about Ronaldo? Do you think Messi's better than him?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think Messi's the best ever.
So Messi,
even before he won the World Cup.
Okay.
So he's Jordan. Ronaldo's like a LeBron.
However you want to see that conversation.
In that area.
Sure. Depends who you ask.
It's like very close though, and then number 3's way down there.
No, not at all. It's
way down.
No.
What do you mean? No, number 3's way down there.
You watch soccer more than I do.
Yeah.
And I feel like you know nothing.
I mean, that's your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Well, who's number 3 then?
Ronaldo.
Okay.
Paulo Maldini.
Well, okay. I was kind of saying right now, but.
Oh, well, that's different. But Kylian Mbappe is right up
He's
there.
up
It's
there,
not
yep.
a big drop-off,
Well,
so stop.
It's a mini
Dude
one.
scored a hat trick in the final.
I know. I watched.
Dude, I don't even watch soccer, and I know this shit.
You watched the final.
Of course I watched the final.
Yeah. So
It's a
you know he
spectacle.
scored a hat trick
It's
in the final.
unbelievable.
It is.
All right, mute your mic now.
Why?
Gotta move on.
Why?
Hey, we have toys. You
like
want to
this
do your
fish.
first toy?
Oh, God.
I hope you played with these when you were a child. You have no childhood, so probably. We're gonna break something here. Hot Wheels. Do you know what these are?
I know what they are. I never played with them as a
Okay,
kid.
that's fine. But at least you know what they are. These used to be the thing back in the day.
They were.
Everyone, you know, Jeff. Everyone would play Hot
You
Wheels.
guys remember Kids Bop or whatever?
That's
it's
still a
called?
thing today. Yeah.
Is that when they dub? That's still a thing today.
Yeah.
They scrub all the music
Oh
today.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
They'll play
I
like
need to
Meg
pick
the
up a disc.
Stallion.
I did.
I need
Oh,
to
yeah.
hear this.
I gotta get
You
a
kidding
disc.
me?
Yeah, they're on like season 58 or whatever. It's
Wow. Good
Yeah.
for them.
they
Good
come
for
out
them.
one every 6 months,
The Detroit Lions.
and it's awful or
The
funny.
Detroit Lions. This is the story right now. Jeff, they're finding ways to win on the road. They're finding ways to win one possession games. They're finding ways to control games from minute 1 and minute 60. They're finding ways to dominate certain sides of the ball that you don't really expect, whether it's special teams, hell, even defense at times. 13 consecutive games with a takeaway. James Houston tying the NFL record for most sacks to start an NFL career. I don't want to get too far ahead because you know me. My head's already thinking next year, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, free agency. This team is going to be loaded with talent. So my head's already at contending for the division next year, winning the division, controlling the division maybe for 3-4 years, and being the top team 2 or 3 of those 4 years. That's where my head's already going right now. But before I go there, you still got 3 games left this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a team, Jeff. I really need to know from your perspective. We talk about the Eagles. How do the Eagles lose games, right? Well, they got to avoid getting in their own way. Really, the Eagles can only beat the Eagles. Kyle Shanahan, can he get their quarterback right? Can he have a healthy quarterback? If yes, he's going to win games. That's not a doubt. So what is it with the Lions? What do the Lions need to keep doing to keep winning? Is it Jared Goff, or is it more than that?
They got to keep clicking, offense and defense, and special teams. I mean, Badgley's a big part of this as well. But that was the difference. I mean, you're 1-6, and may I go through? I mean, you go to Minnesota, you're controlling most of that game, and boom, KJ Osborne. And that was coming off Tracy Walker's injury. So early in the year, there was an adjustment period. But boom, KJ Osborne, game over. You follow that up, you play Seattle, you don't force a single punt. That was the lowest of lows for this defense. And then New England, I mean, that loss was complete garbage offensively. You didn't show up to play. A couple questionable decisions in that game. And then Dallas, a complete meltdown. And you notice a trend with these games, Adam. They're not clicking on all 3. I mean, even coaching, that's been a big part of this winning 6 out of 7. So, again, can you keep that up, assuming, the next 3 games they can play as well as they have offensively, or play good enough to win, and then play as well as they have defensively? The last 3 games are the number 1 defense against the run. Not saying they can sustain that, but can they at least be as good as they've been through this stretch? And then Michael Badgley. Can you rely on him? Not to kick 54-yarders, but to hit, hit a 50-yard chip shot or a 45-yarder. Can you hit those key field goals? And assuming he can do that, they're going to be fine. Dan Campbell has done a good job over the last, 6 wins of the last 7 games of just staying out of the way. You haven't questioned too much of what he's done. I mean, even the fake punt. The execution has been key, and they've done that excellent. But more than that, Adam, they have to keep clicking, because that was the difference. And we've talked about this when they were 1-6. When will this football team play well offensively and play well defensively in the same game? And now you're seeing it. They're doing it. They're clicking. The communication's there. As bad as the secondary is, that defensive line has been causing teams problems. They've been winning the battle up front in the trenches. Offensive line, we know how good they are. But this defensive line, with the emergence of James Houston, they got healthy. Pascal, Romeo Okwara is now back, 2 sacks in his debut. That's going to be the big thing, is both sides of the ball playing as well as they've played, because you're facing Carolina, who we know is similar to the Jets in a way of how good they are defensively. Offensively, they're nothing terrifying. But again, if the Lions can keep clicking like they have, Adam, that's the key to win, because the 3 games they have left, Carolina, Chicago, Green Bay, they're not as a complete team as the Lions. That's the key word, complete, in terms of their ceiling on both offense and defense. When the Lions are clicking, they're clicking. I mean, you watch Jacksonville, you destroy Jacksonville, you followed up, you face Minnesota, you beat them by 11 points. If they can keep clicking on both sides, and you got AG and Ben Johnson calling great games, and those guys are ready to play, they're going to be just fine. I mean, they're better than the next 3 teams they face, but you run into a scenario where you face a Chicago, or you face a Green Bay, and the defense looks as bad as they looked early in the year, and you're hoping that's not the case, Adam. But if they can play as well as they've played on both sides of the ball, they're going to be fine. They're going to win out. I really do believe that. But that's the key. Can you avoid playing like you played early in the year, where it's one or the other? Or it's Dan Campbell making questionable decisions and putting the Lions in a bad position. It's all 3 of those things. They got to be perfect, to say it quite frankly. They got to be perfect.
Well, Saturday they travel to Carolina, and that's a Carolina Panther team that if they win, they can potentially win the division. They're only a game out.
Yeah, they got something to play for.
They still play Tampa.
Yep, they got something to play for.
After they play Detroit, they play Tampa, and that division is a whole different issue. But to focus on the Lions, I think what's impressed me the most during this stretch, and what really makes me believe that they are serious, is how consistent they've been. Mm-hmm. Consistency is key. See, in the NFL, it's a 17-game schedule. And even when you play well, you're going to lose games sometimes. That's just the reality of the NFL. Hell, sometimes you could game plan and execute perfectly for 3.5 quarters, 50 minutes, 55 minutes, hell, even 59 minutes, and you could still lose a game. It's the NFL. For the last 7 games, every single game, win or lose, the Lions have been in it and in control. Lions beat the Packers 15-9. They were in control of that game.
Wasn't perfect.
Wasn't perfect.
But they won.
But they were in control and they won. Bears-Lions, back and forth. Lions made a comeback in the 4th quarter. Won that game. Phenomenal job. You move on to the Giants. They dominate the Giants. Don't let Daniel Jones breathe. Consistency. Buffalo. They controlled that game. They let up late. Buffalo walks away with the win. The rest is history. And then you move on, though. And that was still a good performance. I remember after that game, we sat up here and we said, that loss, it doesn't take away from your season. You expect to lose to the Bills given where they are and you're at. But that was an encouraging performance. And what they followed up with, Jeff? 40-14 against the Jaguars. 34-23 against the Vikings. And then go on the road to the Jets, who have a top 5 defense. And they managed to do just enough to win. And they made the right call at the right time. That was just enough to get by a vaunted Jets defense. So the biggest thing has been consistency. And I think they are serious. They are serious, and I think if you're an NFC team right now, you do not want to play the Lions.
No, you don't.
Especially in the wild card round. That is not a team you want to have come to your building and you play against them. The offensive line travels. The quarterback play has been nothing short of exceptional. Now, again, I'm a numbers guy. You can win 12 straight, 15 straight, 20 straight blackjack hands. But those of you that understand, the numbers always even out, eventually. May not happen now. It may not happen against Carolina, but eventually it does. So my question is, can you win now or moving forward when Goff does make a mistake? And not that I expect him to, but it's the NFL, man. You're going to turn the ball over sometimes. Just like the people that cry about quarterbacks leading the league in interceptions. Relax, especially the good ones. Relax. They're throwing the ball 600 times. I think they're going to throw 10, 11, 12 interceptions. That's normal. That is very normal to me. Can the Lions win now when they turn the ball over? When they lose the turnover battle? When they don't bring their A game for 4 quarters? That's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I want them to go out there and win a game that they throw 2 interceptions and fumble twice. No. But that obstacle, that hurdle is on the way, whether it's Carolina, Chicago, or Green Bay. I don't think they go another 3 games where Jared Goff just doesn't throw an interception. I find that hard to believe. It's the NFL. Things even out at the end of the day. So we'll see. Let's take a break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation. Aiden Hutchinson has been nothing short of exceptional since being drafted for the Detroit Lions. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you could pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 Mr. Beer Machine, full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com.
We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Jeff, Aiden Hutchinson. And not just Aiden, this entire 2022 draft class. Very reminiscent of 2021, no? Year 1, Dan Campbell, they're 3-13-1, but you're going through the season, you're saying, well, you know, Derek Barnes might turn the corner. Amon-Ra St. Brown surging late. Penei Sewell, excellent down the stretch at right tackle. I believe he was a top 8 right tackle over the last 7, 8, 9 weeks of the year. So, a lot of good things. Aleem McNeil showed flashes. Levi O, before the injury, had flashes. You had hope last year. That didn't pan out. But the point was you were looking across the board and saying, holy hell.
Tons of contributors.
A lot of contributors here from the first draft. You go to the second draft now, and it's Aiden Hutchinson. You get Jameson Williams back. And Jameson Williams still needs to get into his zone, but still will include him in the group. Kirby Joseph. Malcolm Rodriguez. James Houston, who was cut originally, signed to the practice squad, makes his return, and has been a sack machine. Machine since Buffalo.
Sack in every game he's played in. Second in rookies and sacks behind Aiden.
Ridiculous. So you have, to me, you have the GM. I always talk to you about head coach, GM, quarterback. How many of them do you have? If you have 2 out of the 3, you can probably win your division most years. If you have all 3, you're a Super Bowl contender. I think you've got the GM. I think that's a check. You set it in stone. That is done. Do you have the head coach? Do you have the quarterback? I think the head coach right now and the quarterback right now, given the way they've played, the way they've coached over the last 7 games, are really starting to check some boxes here. So I look at this 2022 draft, Jeff, contributing across the board. No misses. Brad Holmes does it again.
There's tons of them, too. I mean, you can keep going. Kirby Joseph, James Mitchell, now that TJ's traded away. Like, there's so many. And we talk about how many starters you want per draft, what you expect out of your general manager. Brad Holmes has exceeded that. I mean, you're finding a handful of guys every draft that are starting and or contributing for your defense and offense. And that's all you can ask for. At least for Brad, he's checked all the boxes. I mean, you haven't seen him spent significant money yet. That's the next task for him, which, assuming this offseason, you have the ability to go do that and sign veterans. And now Detroit looks like more of an attractive free agency destination. So I'm excited to see that realm of it. But in terms of the draft and identifying talent, that's what Brad Holmes' strength is. We knew that coming in, coming from L.A., so there was never a doubt, at least in my mind. I know people were aggravated or upset with Brad Holmes early in the season, and we just couldn't wrap our head around it. For a guy who's identified all this talent, now it's crickets. You don't hear people criticizing Brad Holmes. But to Dan Campbell, the narrative for Dan Campbell, too, brought in, and you see his press conferences. Last year, you won 3 games. He cried after his first win. Now looking back, winning 6 of 7, it seems like Dan Campbell's checking those boxes slowly, and more people are buying in, from at least from the fan base, including myself. I mean, I was always bought into Dan, but now you're starting to see it come to light, come to fruition. What the blueprint is to win, you're seeing it. And for Jared Goff, he might not be, your franchise quarterback. In franchise meaning, you have confidence in him to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. But at the same time, he's good enough. He's good enough to win your playoff games. He's good enough to win your divisions. He's good enough, he's done it before, to reach a Super Bowl. And that's a great thing to have, be in a position to have a quarterback like that right now. You'd rather have him over Tannehill. So, again, if you're talking about middle-of-the-pack quarterbacks, Jared Goff this year has played like a top 10 quarterback. Nobody would disagree. He's perfectly fine. His position's safe, at least for right now, until Brad addresses it in the draft. They have 3 of those things. They might not be elite yet, but they check those boxes enough to contend for the playoffs. We have confidence in them to win their division next year. So that means the 3 things we talk about, general manager, head coach, and quarterback, at least Lions fans, and us included, have confidence in what the Lions currently have to go out and do that. Now they got to continue to build this roster out. And look at the assets they have. That's the most exciting part about this. I mean, you draft Aiden Hutchinson. He's a steal. We didn't expect him to be there at 2. The fact that he was, it was a no-brainer. There was a conversation, him or Thibodeau. Aiden was always the pick, and you're seeing it now. And even beyond that, Jameson Williams, you finally get to see Jameson, his first real game, playing significant snaps, gets a touchdown, big, wide-open touchdown against the Vikings. Kirby Joseph is up there for interceptions among rookies and turnovers. So Kirby, ball hawk, everything we knew him to be. We are excited about that draft pick. So, again, that's what your job is as a general manager in a rebuild. Identify talent, go get young guys on rookie contracts that can be contributors for years. And the thing is, and this is what I keep bringing up, this team has a future. These guys, all of their significant players, all of their, I guess you could say franchise players, their pillars of their franchise are under rookie contracts. Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kirby Joseph. You could keep going. These guys are under contract for a couple more years. So they're not going nowhere. And that's the most exciting thing about being a Lions fan right now, is the future is as bright as it's been in years. And these players are going to continue to get better. We can be excited about James Houston this year, and Aiden Hutchinson, and Kirby Joseph, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but these players aren't done developing. They're going to continue to get better. And Jared Goff and Ben Johnson next year, Ben Johnson's second year as an OC, hopefully doesn't get pulled away this offseason. Assuming he doesn't, Jared Goff getting more and more comfortable. He was always the turnover machine, hasn't had a turnover in 6 games. So, again, we talk about the positives of this team. There's plenty to talk about. The future is very, very bright with the Detroit Lions.
I found Brad Holmes to be such a godsend. And when you talk about confidence in a rebuild, what players, what product, what produce are you getting from the grocery store, right? You want to make a nice omelet? You got to go get some good groceries, right? Some grade A eggs, some peppers, some cheese. Depends what you like on your omelet. But you get where I'm going with this. The fact that he's already drafted this amount of contributors on this team is insane.
It's ridiculous.
It doesn't happen this way often. And again, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a third-round pick going into the 2023 NFL Draft. Do you know what that means, Jeff? That means your defense is going to get a a facelift, not only through the draft, but in free agency. And at what, $29-30 million, Jared Goff's contract right now looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it's only going to continue to look amazing as better. Guys get re-upped.
Absolutely.
Like Lamar Jackson, for example.
Kyler Murray got paid. You saw Deshaun Watson get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks are getting paid. And the fact that you have one who has been so responsible and so good these last 7 games. And he was really, really good the first 3 outside of those interceptions. Lions are in a really good position right now. And you want to talk to me about next year and the draft and free agency and what they could do in the regular season next year. Maybe contend, maybe win their division. I don't think that's crazy. I think that is the exact timeline it takes to rebuild and contend with a team in the NFL. What's the timeline, Jeff? We have this conversation how many times in the offseason? It should take you no more than 3 years.
3 years.
To contend or win your division. One or the other. I don't want to hear excuses about time, rebuild, talent. You got to do this, but then you have to do that. No excuses. It's the NFL. It incentivizes bad teams to turn it around like that. So why wait? And suddenly the Lions go from 1-6 talking about what the future looks like to 7-7 talking about the playoffs, along with the Rams pick that you're going to have that'll be in the top 5 hopefully. Oh, and by the way, next year you're probably contending or, dare I say, winning your division. Because the Bears are still going to be bad. The Packers will drop off. The Vikings have won a lot of close games this year that I don't expect them to continuously win. It's just, again, it's like playing the house. Eventually it breaks even. All those balls don't fall your way all the time. The Bills went from winning 13 games to 11 to 10. Why? Well, those one-possession games, they just suddenly started losing. Not because they're worse, not because the Bills aren't really good, but because that's the NFL. And sometimes things don't work out for you. And that's okay. That's where you're at with the Lions. The Lions have the brightest future, I could argue, in the NFC North. As much as I like Kevin O'Connell, you know I'm a big fan. An older Vikings team, young at its core with some superstar players, but at the end of the day, what the Lions are building is more sustainable than the Vikings,
yes,
then the Bears, and then the Packers. And I would have said the same thing at 1-6, because it's still a very young core. And these players, like you mentioned, and that you've been bringing up the last 2 days, they're not going anywhere. They're under contract. All those picks, under contract, minimum 4 years.
Yep.
And then all your first-round picks, you got that 5th-year option. You've got time. Oh, and you've got more draft picks going into this upcoming draft. So it'll only extend your window. Yeah, it's looking very good, Jeff.
Yeah, no,
it's looking very good.
You talk about the NFC North. You could argue the NFC, one of the brightest futures, besides a couple contenders right now, and as complete as they are. The Lions, with the assets they have, the rookies they have under contract that are impactful, that are significant. You have 2 first-rounders this year, 2 second-round picks. Who knows what they could find with those, Brad Holmes specifically. But moving forward, this team next year, I cannot wait to see, because in the next couple years, the difference between the Lions and a majority of the teams in the NFC is all of their most important players or their most impactful players will be getting paid like rookies. And they'll be under contract still. And that's the difference. The Minnesota Vikings are going to have to re-up some guys. TJ Hockenson needs an extension. What are you going to do with TJ? Justin Jefferson is coming down the pipeline. He's going to demand a massive contract. There's things they're going to have to sort out. The Lions still have that offensive line that guys are already paid for. Penei Sewell on a rookie contract. That ain't going nowhere. The defensive line, which is made up of mostly rookies, they aren't going anywhere. So, in Romeo Okwara, who's signed under contract, the biggest thing the Lions have to improve on and fix is that secondary. But you're going to get Tracy Walker back. You're probably going to use one of those first-round picks on a corner. And who knows what they can do in free agency. So, again, the weaknesses on the Detroit Lions, it's fixable with the assets they have coming. So, I cannot wait to see. We talk about, the weak or the flaws within this team. I can't wait to see next year, because a lot of those flaws are going to get addressed, and players are going to get better. So, honestly, one of the brightest futures in the NFC, no question.
they'll get better and better. And coming up, we will discuss Jared Goff. We're going to give Jared Goff his shine. He's been exceptional. He deserves 15, 20, 30 minutes. He deserves more than that, to be honest with you. So coming up, we'll have a conversation about Jared Goff, his play, where he stands in the NFL, where he ranks among NFC quarterbacks, and so much more. And then we'll get to your calls, of course, later on after that on Jared Goff. But I got to tell you about what's happening later today from 5 to 9 p.m. Hope for the holidays. Jeff Okuda, Chad Johnson, founder of Lady Jane's and Woodward Sports, will be donating new shoes, awesome clothing, warm clothes, hats, socks this holiday season, along with haircuts to make everybody look and feel better going into the holiday season, along with warm meals and a holiday cheer. It is going to be a great event. I cannot wait. It's a very special event. A lot of Lions players will be there as well, showing their support. So make sure you show your support on social media, share it, and if you know a family in need, make sure you refer them to Hope for the Holidays, and they will be taken care of. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been, I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Looking to buy or sell your home, whether you're a player or a fan, Michael Phillips will make you his top priority. Being in the game for over 23 years makes Michael the #1 option for anybody, so what are you waiting for? Give him a call for any of your real estate needs at 313-403-0011. That's 313-403-0011. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live. WoodwardSports.com. Fish, you owe the people something.
Oh no.
And this was a bet made a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And now that there have been multiple wins since, you owe the fan base, and you owe everybody watching.
I don't owe him anything.
7 hip thrusts.
What?
For every Lions victory.
There.
1.
That's 1.
That's 1. I need 6 more consecutively. And put some action into it.
Nope, that's it.
Act like you mean it.
I do.
Act like you're banging your broad. Come on.
Okay, that was your 1.
All right, I need 6 more. I'm not doing the show until you do all 7.
Well, that's fine. I'll do 1. There we go.
Let's go.
There's your second 1. Okay.
5 more.
Yep.
5 more.
5
you
don't
more.
see me do it, huh?
5 more. You promised. I'm
Since
only
when?
holding you to your word.
When did I? When?
You promised. You promised everybody in the chat.
Okay, that's a lie, but okay.
Hey, Austin Harris, WoodwardSports.com says, "Don't you owe people something, Adam? The Bears aren't winless."
I do. What was the bet I made with the Bears?
You just said they go 0-17. I said you're an idiot.
Oh, we didn't make a bet on it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think Fish just called you dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that subtracts a couple hip thrusts. Now you got to give us...
All right, there you go. Now you only have to give 2 more. But they have to be back-to-back. Consecutive.
What the?
One more. No, consecutive.
No, that doesn't count. What do you mean that doesn't count?
It's got to be back-to-back. Come on. Like you're trying to put a baby in her. Come on.
I'm going to get canceled again.
All right, there you go.
Hey,
should have go, man.
Speaking of hip thrust, you better know what this is. Let me turn it around.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
You know what this is?
Lego.
Oh,
it's a Lego. Well, it's just
yeah.
Lego City, but it's Legos.
How do people have the patience to build that shit?
Well, most of these are kids that build it. Like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I don't know. I've seen adults. I've seen adults build these.
Well, there is
too.
adults, but like kids, like you got to think kids don't have the How do kids have the patience for this? I don't know. They have competitions, by the way, like Lego building competitions. Like old people.
Yeah, that's quite the sport, huh? Right up there with darts.
Hey, it's electric.
Real
Real
fucking sport.
I'll show you some darts. It's electric.
I'm sure.
I'm watching it right now. It's a great match.
No, you're not.
You're missing some great stuff.
I know you're watching it right now, buddy. I don't put it past you.
Fish, you're watching it right now.
Did you play this, by the way? Do you know what this is?
Yeah, Battleship. I know Battleship.
Okay, good. I'm just trying to test your knowledge.
My favorite game growing up was on the old Windows computer. Pinball.
Oh yeah.
Pinball was the shit back in the day. That was a classic game. Anyways, moving on. Jared Goff. Jeff, you brought him up yesterday night in the prep. What we were going to discuss about this guy. 219 consecutive passes without an interception thrown. Walk me through his last 7 weeks and really through his season where I could argue he's playing at a top 8 level.
Yeah, he is. You talk about the stretch the Lions have had in winning 6 of 7 games. You bring up the defense, but it's got to be Jared Goff, not turning the ball over. He looks the most confident he's looked in his entire career. I mean, you talk about the numbers. Currently on the year in 14 games, he's at 3,600 yards. He's on pace to have his first 4,000-yard season since 2019. And you talk about the interceptions, okay? Well, he has 7 interceptions on the year. A majority of those came from the beginning of the year when the offense wasn't completely healthy. Had a couple of those were pick sixes. But 7 interceptions on the year. It'd be his lowest total since 2017 when he threw 7 interceptions for the Rams. And he had 28 touchdowns in that season. So Jared Goff has been far from the issue this year. If anything, he's been the most consistent thing about this team in terms of having a quarterback to lead a top 5 offense. And yes, we bring up the offensive line. We can bring up Ben Johnson, coaching. That matters. All of those matter for any quarterback. It's not a knock on Jared Goff. Having receivers, I mean, come on, that's simple. You give a quarterback like that all those weapons, a good offensive line, a top 2 offensive line, I would argue. Of course, he's going to play better. But Jared Goff's decision-making has been the big thing for me. Because the narrative, this is what I was told. I'm going to pull a Neil. I was told Jared Goff, coming into the season, has the most turnover since 2019, and it looked that way early in the season. But he's flipped the script. The offense has been pretty much mistake-free. Don't know how long they could keep that up, but if they can, the Lions are a different team. How good they are offensively, how do you stop good offenses? You turn the ball over. When an offense like this isn't making mistakes like that, turning the ball over, fumbling, they're in a better position. I mean, you even go back, it's not always just been Goff either. Jamal Williams, uncharacteristic fumbles. He had one against Buffalo, one against Dallas. Like, you just don't see those things happen quite often. So this offense has been a big reason why this team is 7-7. And who's leading this offense is Jared Goff, who's having one of his better seasons of his career. And again, for a quarterback who's only 28 years old, I think we look at quarterbacks and we say, well, Jared Goff, he's a finished product. This is who Jared Goff is. No, not really. I mean, he's 28 years old. He can still improve and get better. He's under contract for 2 more seasons, making $30 million, which if you look around the NFL, it's actually a favorable contract. Yes, a rookie quarterback contract's the most valuable thing, but who would you want running this offense right now over Jared Goff? With his experience in the postseason, his experience just playing the quarterback position, former number 1 overall pick. Every quarterback has flaws. It's hard to find a Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to find a Herbert. It's hard to find a Josh Allen. But if you don't have those guys, the next thing is getting a guy like Jared Goff, who can control your offense, can lead your offense, and you can trust him. And you see the coaching staff. Dan Campbell talked about it. His trust in Jared Goff, his confidence level in Jared Goff over the last 6-7 weeks is at an all-time high. And that's among the fan base. I mean, you're hearing people talk about extending Goff already, which in my opinion is idiotic. He's under contract for 2 years. You don't have to do that right now. But Jared Goff is far from the issues. I mean, 0 turnovers in the last 6 games, the third fastest to 25,000 passing yards. The stats are the stats. I mean, Jared Goff, as much flack as you want to give him, he's been impressive this season, and he's a quarterback that I feel completely comfortable moving forward in the future with. Even if they don't draft a quarterback this year, I wouldn't hate it because of the draft position they have with the Rams pick. You're not going to be in a position like this to take a quarterback again unless you trade up or you take somebody that falls to you. But Jared Goff is the perfect guy to have right now, Adam. It allows them to build their roster. You have consistency at the quarterback position. You can continue to build this defense. They're going to be just fine. Build them into a team that can contend and win their division and hopefully win a playoff game. And I do think Jared Goff at the helm, you can accomplish those things. He's won playoff games as early as 2 years ago. He won a playoff game for the Rams. So Jared Goff's in a great situation right now, and Lions fans should be happy to have him.
Jared Goff is 8th in passing yards, 8th in touchdowns thrown. He is top 15 in completion percentage. He is having a season. And I think what kills me the most about Goff is, it's either my way or the highway sometimes when you're having a conversation about Jared Goff. Because I think he does a lot of things really well. And you're seeing the Lions really take advantage of that over the last 6-7 games. And there are things he just doesn't do well. And there are limitations. And there is a ceiling to how good or how effective he can be. And I do understand he's 28 years old. And I do understand he may be a good, viable option for the next 3, maybe even 4 years. But I think what's most important of anything is that he looks like a top 12 quarterback again, which he used to be. Hell, even at a time, he was regarded as a top 10 quarterback in LA. He's playing at a level, you associate him with Dak, Kirk, you associate him with Kyler, you can put him in that conversation of guys on the fringe of 10, probably closer to 12, 13, 14.
If I told you Jared Goff would be before the season, Adam, Jared Goff's going to be at this point in the season 8th in passing yards, 8th in touchdowns, and 6th in QBR. You look at me and say, I'll take that. I'll take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Are going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, you didn't know how. Yeah, if you knew how this defense was playing, yes, that's numbers you want out of Jared Goff. That's perfectly okay. No complaint.
Look, he's been excellent.
Now, are there limitations to your point? The throw to Jamison Williams. There's going to be those. And again, quarterbacks miss throws. Jared Goff, we know the arm talent compared to guys like Patrick Mahomes or Herbert. He doesn't have that type of arm talent, but not many guys do. So, again, I think people at points are watching Goff, Adam, and they look at Goff hit DJ Chark or Jamison and consistently on deep throws. He hit him 2 games ago, as early as 2 games ago. But then you watch last week against the Jets, and he misses Jamison, and then you see people go, you know what, here we go. This is Jared Goff. Can't throw a deep ball. That's just not the case. He might not be as consistent as those other guys, but he's good enough. Again, to have a quarterback like Herbert, Mahomes, and Allen, that brings your offense to a whole new level, but that's not what the position the Lions are in right now.
Let me ask you a few questions. Is Zach Wilson the problem for the Jets at the moment? Has he been the problem most of the year?
Yes.
Has the quarterback situation been a problem for the Jets? Overall?
Yes. Yeah, it has. 3 different quarterbacks this season.
Is the quarterback situation a problem for the Falcons?
Yes.
Is it a problem for even the Giants?
At times, yeah, you could argue
the Commanders?
They've been winning games, but I don't think they're settled with Taylor Heineke as their franchise quarterback. So
I don't think you want to move forward with any of those quarterbacks for the next 2 years.
No, you would not.
I could make the case for Jared Goff. You want to move forward with him for the next 2 years. He is the least of your concerns at the moment. And at a position that, yes, is the most important, I also understand how valuable it is to build a foundational team that you can, I don't want to say plug and play any quarterback and have success. That's the dream. It doesn't really always work out that way. But Jared Goff is the least of my concerns at the moment.
I would agree.
And his play has earned him that right. And his play is what's going to push Brad Holmes likely in the direction of, hey, we're spending all of our first and second round picks probably on defense. Just a heads up. And it's going to work. I think it's going to work. Let's take a break. When we get back, let's continue the golf conversation. Phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. Call in. Jeff and I will take your calls on Jared Goff. What do you think his future with the team looks like? Do you agree with Jeff and I? He's the least of the Lions' concerns, at least for the next 2, maybe even 3 years. We'll have that conversation coming up in just a bit. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Well, guys, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. You can try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, and sugar-free all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
All I want for Christmas is a Lions win, the Pistons in the playoffs, and the Red Wings to dominate. I don't ask for much.
I'm asking for a punt! A single punt!
And I've been really good this year.
Oh, you're so naughty. You're so naughty.
Woodward Sports.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Alta, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, top of the hour, and it's the Midway Minute, as always. Check it out downtown. What are you guys waiting for? The Winter Bumper Cars, the Arctic Slide, Puck Putt, Midway Arcade, food favorites, Santa sightings, you name it, they got it. I took my nephew down there just over a week ago, and we had ourselves a pretty good time. I felt like an actual human for once. You know, I was taking pictures with the kid, sending the pictures to his mom, making sure she knew he was okay. We were having a good time. Ate some food, grabbed some drinks. It was fun. It was fun. I had a good time. But let's continue with Jared Goff. Phone lines are open. 313-ALEX, if you don't mind, let's pin the phone number to the top of the chat. 313-552-6322. We'll start with Eric. Eric, Jared Goff has been on a tear these last 7 games. 0 turnovers in his last 6. 219 consecutive passes without an interception. Where do you stand with Jared Goff this morning?
What up, though, guys?
What's up, Eric?
Good morning, man. Hey, early in the season, y'all know I was critical of Jared Goff. But like I always say, I evaluate and I can be fair-minded. Right now, Jared Goff is playing to a level, a standard where we can keep him for another year. But there's nothing wrong with saying we definitely need to get a viable backup, because I always look at it like this. As good as Jared Goff is playing, what if he goes down? We don't have nobody. I'm not trying to hand it to the backups we got now, but I think Jared Goff has been very consistent lately, and that's all I ask for. Do I still see him as a game manager? Yeah, but with the tools around him, we knew this going when he got here. With the tools around him, he can be this guy. But it's also, you have to address it. You have to address your backup, and you still have to groom somebody for the future. But right now, I will admit, earlier in the season, I was not on board for Jared Goff staying to next season. But just like he elevated his play, I can change my mind of thinking on him. That's being fair.
Yeah, no question.
And a lot of fans have to open that up and be fair to a player. Yes, when a player's playing bad, he deserves criticism. But when they're balling, they deserve the praise. And I give Jared Goff his flowers right now.
Mm-hmm. No, and no question, Eric. I think, and you're kind of looking around, and again, I don't blame you, by the way. I'm in a similar pool as you, talking about with new information, with new evidence, you can change your opinion. I mean, that's completely fair. But to your point about finding a backup, I actually agree with you, because you're looking what's going on in San Francisco, right? Trey Lance goes down, you have Jimmy G. Jimmy G goes down, and now emerges Brock Purdy, who actually looks like a viable backup and is winning games for them. So, again, I'm with you. You got to find a situation, or you got to find a player to back up Jared Goff. I don't think that's a question. Now, the bigger thing I take away, though, is if Goff goes down, your season's, I mean, depending
that's
on who you
most
have.
NFL teams.
Now,
Josh Allen goes down tomorrow.
But
the Bills are
with
done.
Jimmy G, it's different. You can have a Brock Purdy. He can be a game manager. You can win games with that defense.
Kirk Cousins goes down. What,
yeah,
Kellen Mond?
it's over. Yeah, it's completely over. But to your point, Eric, you got to find a backup. I agree with you.
Fair enough. Appreciate the call, Eric. Well done, buddy. Let's head out to Sammy in Dearborn. Sammy, you're on the morning show. What do you got for us, man?
Hey, I'm not sure what the last guy, what he said. We need a valuable backup, but right now, Jared Goff is him. That's the guy, our guy. Lions got to stick with him, man. He's doing great. I mean, like he said, we're all doubting him in the beginning, but he made a huge turnaround, hitting the diet.
Jared Goff has, you said it, he's turned it around. I thought he was playing well early on in the year. The interceptions were not ideal. The shutout in New England, the Dallas performance, I mean, there was a lot that was going on. St. Brown was hurt, Swift was hurt, Chark was hurt, a lot of factors. But at the end of the day, Sammy, I think he's the guy for the next 2 years, because I can load up on defense, I can spend money in free agency, and I know that I'm not breaking the bank on a quarterback that maybe I'm not committed to in the future.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm going to apologize now to all the Michigan fans listening. I am an Ohio State fan, but I wouldn't mind C.J. Stroud as a backup. I'm just saying.
You know what? I can't wait for the NFL draft. That's going to be so interesting, and who knows if he'll even be on the board by the time the Lions maybe are picking with that Rams pick. Appreciate the call, Sammy.
All right, see you guys.
Well done. Man, you know what? I was thinking about this, Jeff. If you look at Jared Goff's contract over the next, let's say, 2 years, and you factor in his cap hit along with, you know, what you would expect out of a rookie contract, rookie deal, along with what you would expect to go in the market and go and grab a quarterback potentially, Goff is the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we use the term bridge quarterback, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not. I think people get lost in that, as in it's an insult.
Yeah, which it isn't. It's actually a compliment. It means you have a guy here that you, however long you want to build your team around him, you can do it, knowing that eventually you're going to have to make a decision. That's all it is.
Right.
Just like Alex Smith was to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jimmy G
I hope
with the
Jimmy
49ers
G as well. That I hope Goff can be what Alex Smith was for the Chiefs, for the Lions. That's my ultimate end game. Let's go to Rick out in Arizona. Rick, you're on the morning show. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, so I was just sitting here kind of thinking a little bit, if Matthew Stafford had the numbers that Jared Goff has right now and he was playing on our team, that dude would be hyped up as an MVP candidate right now. And I look at what Stafford did and the picks he's thrown in L.A., even last year. I mean, dude's leading the league in pick sixes. And yet somehow we are still sitting here talking about Jared Goff as, a bridge quarterback. I guess I don't really understand that. What is your guys' real thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'm honest with you, Rick, there's a clear talent difference with a young Matthew Stafford and where Jared Goff is at right now. I think if Matthew Stafford was still the quarterback of the Lions and he hadn't accomplished anything, well, then nobody's really talking about him. But even if he did lead the league in interceptions last year, well, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and Tom Brady were among the leaders in interceptions last year as well. It's just the reality of the NFL. We're asking these guys to drop back 570, 590, 620 times a year and throw the football. I think out of the 620 attempts, probably 10, 12, or 14 of them are going to get intercepted. It's just a numbers game for me. I think Goff, yes, to your point, probably isn't getting enough national recognition for his play, but, he is what he is. Kirk Cousins last year, I believe, threw 34 touchdowns and 6 interceptions? Nobody talked about him. He threw for over 4,400 yards, I believe, last year as well. So, yeah, it's about who you are. And right now the names are Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa. Even though I could argue Jared Goff has played just as well as Tua, maybe even better than Tua has at times this year. So, to your point, Rick, the name, I think, does hold him back maybe a little bit from getting all the flowers, but at the end of the day, he's putting up exceptional numbers, and it's not on accident. And don't forget, to start the year, he was throwing a pick six every game.
Yeah, he had, 2 pick sixes?
I believe 3 in a 4-week stretch was the number.
Yeah. So, but I'm looking at that also as you had, half your wide receiving core was out. He didn't have a whole lot of, reps with those guys like he has now. So I think what you're seeing now from him is just his maturation of having more and more reps with these wide receivers and being able to understand, where these guys are going. They're all on the same page. Even that throw to J-Mo, that one that he kind of underthrew.
Yep.
He even said in the press conference, he's like, look, man, he goes, I've got to get used to this guy's speed and know when I can throw the ball. And those are just things that kind of take time. What I'm seeing from him and this team is just this total maturation of him being able to get with these wide receivers and know when they're going to break, know when to throw that ball because he knows they're going to be there. I'm all in on Jared, and I have been since the beginning of the year. I thought the guys had just been getting a total whitewash from everybody just because of him and Sean McVay. Sean McVay wanted him out, but you can't tell me that Jared couldn't have won that Super Bowl last year with the Rams.
I don't think he would have, for the simple fact I don't think he makes the throw that Matthew Stafford made to Cooper Kupp against the Buccaneers. I think they lose that game.
Yeah, but also, and if the 2 interceptions are actually caught during the NFC Championship game.
And if Jalen Ramsey catches the 2 interceptions that were thrown his way by Jimmy Garoppolo, then what happens? I mean, I don't want to do that. Come on.
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying, I
agree with you. I think Goff I don't think he gets enough credit. And I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, I think he's the perfect bridge option. And what I mean by that is, this is a guy, I think, Rick, for the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, depending on his longevity, depending on his contract situation, depending on his play and production like it has been this year. This is a guy, Rick, you can go out and win a division with. You can go out and win playoff games with. He's done it before. So I'm going to align with you there and say, yeah, this guy, I don't see a problem with him being here for the next 2 or even 3 years. So where are you at with Goff over the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 years?
I'm actually on board with him over the next 5 years. So you're looking at a guy that's going to be 33 years old in 5 years. At that point in time, I think you want to have a quarterback in line, ready to take over if that needs to be the case. He's not going to be a Tom Brady where he's paying to him 40 years old, unless he stays healthy. But I don't think he has that type of arm as like let's say a Stafford or some of those other guys that have the big arms where he's not going to drop off, and I can definitely see that. But for 5 years, hell yeah, man, sign me up with him and get somebody in there that can take over after that.
I like it. Rick. Appreciate the call, man. Well done. Very good call. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
All right, gentlemen.
Take care. Day. Yep. That was really good. Yeah. I'll say this. Todd Sane says 3, 4, or 5 years is not a bridge quarterback in the NFL. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Well, let me help you here. Alex Smith. Do you remember Alex Smith, Jeff?
I do.
My favorite definition of a bridge quarterback. He was the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback for 4 years. After 3 years with him, they drafted Mahomes. They sat Mahomes year 1, and then the rest is history.
What about Jimmy G?
I think a different situation. I do. I do believe. So Jimmy G got them to a Super Bowl. Alex Smith never got them there, right? So it's a bit different.
But they drafted his replacement.
But they still ended up drafting his replacement.
And guess how long he was there? 6 years.
Yeah, but they traded for Jimmy G, expecting him to be the franchise.
I get that. But again, what would you call Jimmy G right now?
Jimmy G right now.
Is he a franchise quarterback?
No, but I don't think he's. It depends on his situation. I think if you put him on a good team, he can do what Jared Goff is doing, winning games, winning divisions, winning playoff games. So, yeah, I think he's a viable bridge.
And he played well this year, too. 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
The key difference between a Goff in Detroit and a Jimmy G in San Francisco is, if I were to swap them, Jeff, okay? Mm-hmm. Jimmy G, we would call him a bridge. Hey, this is a guy you can win with. This is a guy for the next 2 3. The same thing we'd say about Goff. But Goff in San Francisco with a better situation, putting up the numbers he's putting up right now, you would be talking like Rick would be by saying, hey, this could be the guy for the next 4 or 5 years. Are they wrong? I don't think so.
No, I don't think they're wrong. I mean, even Tannehill, who's actually had some good seasons with the Titans.
I'm not a fan, but go for it.
But would you? My question to you, a guy who's won divisions, who's had the best record in the AFC, would you call him a franchise quarterback?
God, no.
And he's been there for 4 years. Next year will be his 5th year.
Yeah, but what do all these guys have in common? Including Goff back in the Rams. Mike Vrabel, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. Good defenses, great defenses at times.
Absolutely.
So, this is starting to become a really good situation. And if I told you in 2 years from now that the Lions would draft a quarterback, none of you would care. You know why? Because in 2 years, it's still going to be a complete offense. Mm-hmm. Your defense is going to be a lot better, and your rookie quarterback is going to be walking into one of the better situations in the NFL thanks to Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
Must be nice. Let's take a break. When we get back, Jeff and I will share our top 10 teams in the NFL. Then we'll continue the Goff and the Lions conversation, spinning it up. Carolina this Saturday. It's a short week. We got a lot to talk about. But coming up, before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Well, guys, with Guardian Alarm protecting your house, anything is possible with this defense because you're spending more time away from the cold in your home. You want to feel protected. So call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
All right, join Ryan Ermanni on his journey to a healthier lifestyle thanks to our good friends over at Custom Health Centers. Dr. Jason set up Ryan Ermanni with a weight loss plan that took him covering 3 screens and 7 chins to him down now to 2 chins. And slimmer. He can now fit in this camera shot if you want to go to my solo real quick. So it used to be, I'll just give a visual explanation here. So Ryan Ermanni used to take up about this much of the screen, all right, in width. Now he's about here, and I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy for him.
Yeah,
so check
great.
him out 2 to 4 every single day. Ermanni and Edwards. Ryan Ermanni. Have fun.
Don't forget about Maz.
Enjoy. Don't forget about Maz. Maz needs to get on the Dr. Jason plan soon, so we can't wait. But we're back here on the morning show. We got a lot to talk about. We'll start with our top 10 teams in the NFL. Jeff, let's start from 1. Because 8, 9, and 10 for you and I are going to be night and day different. But I also love what you did at number 9. So I want to go in the opposite today. I think we both agree. Chiefs 1?
No.
You got the Eagles 1.
I have the Eagles. And again, if you want to go, well, Jalen Hurts is injured. I'm not doing that. I'm doing based off the entirety of the season. To me, Philly is still the most complete team. I've been saying that since week 1. Watch out for Philly. They're the most complete team in the NFL, in the NFC. It's Super Bowl or bust. It's unfortunate Hurts is injured. Assuming he'll miss 1 game. We'll see what Minshew does against the Cowboys. But to me, the Eagles hold that. They still have the crown for the best team to me. The most complete roster. Jalen Hurts, even last week, struggling turning the ball over, still finding ways to win. So give me the Eagles. They're the best team right now, currently, in the NFL.
I still have my doubts on the Eagles. I think the Chiefs are the class of the NFL. You have to prove it to me in the postseason. And if I were to bet my mortgage right now on the Chiefs or the Eagles, I'm definitely going to ride with the Chiefs.
I would
for
too.
me, to beat the champ, to be the champ, you got to beat them, right? So I think the Eagles have earned a number 1 spot in the power rankings. I think they're one of the 2-3 best teams in the NFL. But for me, it's the Chiefs. Number 2 is going to be the Eagles for me.
Okay.
And for the same reasons you gave, I think they're complete. Jalen Hurts a little banged up. It's okay. They're fine. They're a game away, really, from clinching the what's the word I'm looking for?
Clinching the division.
Clinching not only the division,
and
the number 1 seed, which is the bye week. So, look, they're going to be cautious over the next few weeks. I don't mind it. I think they're the 2nd or 3rd best team with Buffalo, with Kansas City. So, that's where I'm at this morning. It's not a shot or, it's not to discredit Philly. I just think Kansas City offers too many problems. Mahomes is unstoppable. He's playing at an MVP level. I got nothing else. For me, it's the Chiefs 1, Eagles 2.
Number 2, I'm going to go Buffalo.
Wow.
And coming off a big win against Miami at home. Yeah, Buffalo, to me, they beat the Chiefs early in the season at Arrowhead, which, again, as impressive as it comes. I love the Chiefs, but last week against the Texans, that game just, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not going to lie to you. Watching that game and it goes to OT against Davis Mills, I don't know. It definitely took a hit on the Chiefs, although I still have confidence in them come the postseason because you have Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't take away from the result itself. So give me the Bills. Even with the Von Miller injury, I still think defensively, offensively, they're a scary team. They got to be able to run the football more consistently, and they've been trying to do that. But yeah, I'm going to give the slight 2 and 3 for me is if you want to say
fair.
Chiefs or 2, that's
So you
fine.
got
But
Chiefs
I'm
at
going
3.
Bills. Yeah, Bills
All
and
right,
then
no
Chiefs at
problem.
3.
Chiefs at 3. I've got the Bills at 3. So we'll just move on.
Yep.
4 and 5. Give me your 4 and 5.
4 is the Bengals. This is a team that people talked about. Could they miss the playoffs? And they do have injuries. Hendrickson is out with a calf injury, if I'm not mistaken. And then you also are missing Hubbard. 2 key defensive players. They'll be back, but offensively, there's no argument. The Bengals are a team that I believe come postseason, when they do get healthy, are going to be dangerous. They made the Super Bowl last year. Was more of a, everyone looked at the Bengals as a team that was slept on, and they made the Super Bowl this year. I don't think that's the case. I think the Bengals are still just as dangerous. They're number 4 to me, and the reason why I'd give them the edge slightly over the 49ers is because of that offense. It is a dangerous offense led by Joe Burrow, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. So I give the slight edge to the Bengals at 4. What?
You know, I don't like when you look at my notes and you just like check mark, check mark, check mark.
Just don't leave. Yeah,
I've got the Bengals at 4.
Okay.
I thought that would surprise you.
No, I'm with you. Bengals are dangerous.
Bengals are dangerous. I think Joe Burrow's the MVP, only behind Jalen Hurts for MVP. I do.
No Mahomes?
No. I think he's ahead of Mahomes.
Okay.
I think what not Hurts. I think what Burrow has done this year is more impressive than any quarterback outside of Jalen Hurts. For me, he's number 2, Patrick Mahomes 3.
It's fair. So who's your 5th? Because I kind of gave mine away. It's 49ers.
We agree.
Okay.
We agree. I'm not putting the Vikings in my top 5. Again,
no.
I love them preseason. I picked them to win the division. I thought they'd get to the NFC Championship game. The Niners are a problem. They're all pro at every position almost. It's ridiculous. They are a complete roster. Even with Brock Purdy, for me, the Niners are that top 5. That's the class of the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think everybody on this list after is good, even very good. Could win playoff games, winning their division. But I think that top 5, that's the echelon. That's the Mount Rushmore of the NFL right now. That's the class. Those teams are legit.
Mm-hmm.
So, number 6, I've got the Minnesota Vikings. Down 33-0. They come back and win. I'm not sure if I love it or hate it.
Yeah, that's
I
me
love
too.
the second half. I hate the first half. Minnesota confuses me. I'm not sure how to feel about them. But they're 11-3, and I think that's got to count for something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have them at 6 this week.
This was the big one for me because it's between.
Don't say Dallas.
Well,
You
Dallas.
fucker.
Dallas spanked that ass at Minnesota early in the year.
Don't tell me Dallas.
I'm going to go Dallas.
I hate you.
I can't. And again, I think you said it perfectly. The comeback for the Vikings. It's impressive, but it's also concerning because you go down 33-0 in the first half. Give me the Cowboys. And again, this isn't me. The Cowboys come to postseason. That's another situation. I don't know how much of a legitimate contender the Cowboys are, but you can't deny how complete of a team they are offensively and defensively. I know they have injuries in their secondary, but still, even with the injuries, they're a better defense than the Vikings. And let's be honest here, the Vikings to me, and I'm going to keep saying this, are frauds. They can win 11 games. They can win 12 games. But come that postseason, I hope the Lions match up with them, and I'll leave it at that. Give me the Cowboys slightly, though, over the Vikings, just because of that result early in the year. You can't escape my head. They completely stomped the Vikings on the road in Minnesota. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the Cowboys here at 6.
Oh, God. All right, number 7. The Dallas Cowboys are not number 7 for me. They're a little lower. I got the Los Angeles Chargers. As imperfect as I think they are, as many problems as I think they do have, I like where the Chargers are trending right now. I like the direction they're heading in. Give me the Chargers at 7, and I would imagine you have the Vikings at 7, yes?
Yeah, I have the Vikings at 7. And then 8, I have the Chargers. The Chargers, to me, have been trending upwards. They're still not 100% healthy yet. I mean, you're missing Derwin James and Joey Bosa. Once those guys get back, the defense gets even better. We know what Justin Herbert can do, especially with a healthy offense. Chargers, to me, are still dangerous. And as much as I vouched for Brandon Staley to get fired early in the year, right now, they're still alive. So give me the Chargers at 8.
All right, this is where shit gets real. I'm not going to agree with you because I know the team you have at 9, okay?
All right.
Because you did share it with me. So I can't lie to the people and act like I'm going to be surprised with who you have at 9, okay? I'm going to have Dallas at 8. Dak, to me, is a flashier, more nationally recognized quarterback than Kirk Cousins. I don't see the difference. I'm not a fan of Dak Prescott at all. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he limits Dallas' ceiling. Having said that, Dallas still has an exceptional defense. They can still run the ball, two-headed backfield, CeeDee Lamb. It's a good team. So I'm going to have them at 8. And I'm going to let you round out 9 and 10 because I was shocked when you showed me number 9.
Should I give it away?
Yes, you should.
Behind the Chargers, at number 9, I have the Detroit Lions.
Their first appearance in the top 10 ever.
Yes, they're a top 10 team to me right now with how they've been playing. They're 7-7, one of the hottest teams in football. You won 6 out of the last 7. Their offense, we know, is a top 5 offense, but the defense now being a middle-of-the-pack defense, the best defense against the run over the last 3 games. Yes, I said that. Better than the 49ers. Over the last 3 games, they've been exceptional. Give me the Lions at 9. They're trending upwards, and they're a top 10 team. This is what we asked for, and I picked them over another team, which I put at 10. And this team, it was flip-flop early in the year. I mean, this is a team. They're in front of teams that I had in the top 5 early in the year. Lions, to me, as well as they've been playing, give me the Lions at number 9.
Okay, so I'm going to do 9 and 10. All right, and I'm going to do 11 as well.
Okay. Can I give my 10 away if you're doing 9 and 10?
Go
my 10 will be Miami Dolphins. 3-game losing streak. They're 1 win better than the Lions. If we're looking at how
11 for you?
Each team has played, it's the Lions. 11, I'd probably go the Ravens. Okay. Even with the injury.
You've led into my top 10.
Still have respect for the Ravens. But
So as much as I love the Ravens, as much as I think they're very well coached, as much as I think they have a lot of potential, and number 8, I'm going to roll with the Miami Dolphins. Or excuse me, and number 9
the Miami
I'm going to roll with the Miami Dolphins. Number 10, and they get the slight edge. And I don't even really feel good about this. And they're probably done even if they win next week. If the Lions win. And that's the Baltimore Ravens at 10. I got Baltimore at 10. I got Detroit at 11. And just so you know, I've got Jacksonville at 12.
Mm-hmm.
You know how high I was on them in the season? Maybe it's a bit biased from my end. I got Detroit sitting there on the cusp of 10. I was surprised you put them at 9, but I don't blame you. Because who's playing better football than they are over the last 7 games?
Right.
Who's got a better record than them over the last 7 games outside of the Eagles? They are playing very good football. And I think it deserves to be recognized. I was happy you put them at 9. I got them at 11 this week.
Mm-hmm.
But great job, Jeff. Well done. Fun as always. Let's take a break. When we get back, I want to revisit the Goff situation. Let's preview Carolina a little bit. And then at 9:41, Dan Campbell having the second best odds to win, to win the NFL Coach of the Year award. We'll get to that, of course, later on. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Well, it's wintertime in Detroit, and it's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You could try the classic meatloaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo, but how about the breakfast as well? The stuffed potato pancakes are officially back. The Lumberjack, Santa Fe Garden, or the Blockbuster. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Jeff Akuta and Wicked Awesome Wishes present Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Akuta gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit with Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. Together, Jeff and Chad have been game planning all year long to make this Christmas one to remember for underprivileged children and their families. Special thanks to Lions players Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, and more, along with Lions alumni Lomas Brown and Joyak Bell, and the awesome people at Lighthouse Coolidge Community Building in Oak Park. Together, we'll make sure every child has new shoes, warm coats, hats, and socks, plus free haircuts to help everyone feel their best. And don't forget Woodward Sports' Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and Darren McCarty will be there too. Hope for the holidays from Jeff Akuta and Wicked Awesome Wishes.
Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. You can join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your Vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan.
We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live. WoodwardSports.com. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. If you go outside, you'd probably freeze.
Wait for the snow to come on Friday. That's going to be
Friday, you said?
Yeah. Thursday night into Friday, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday's going to be rain. Friday's going to be snow. Saturday's going to be snow. Sunday looks dry for Christmas.
You got any toys in there?
I do. You want some toys?
Let's do it.
Okay. We'll go over to this one. This is some kinetic sand. I don't know if you ever did this as a child.
Never. I don't know what that is.
You know what kinetics is? It's just like sand that you play with. It's
Do I look like I played with sand when I was a kid?
Well, I mean, as a child,
I would rather play with myself than play with sand.
Fish, that's kind of racist. Are you assuming he played with sand when he was younger?
Well, that's what all kids.
God,
you didn't have a sandbox when you were young.
All right, Fish. I heard of kinetic sand, but I never played with it. So
well, at least you heard of it. At least you're not like this dumb. Do you want another one?
No,
yeah, go for it, buddy.
Well,
go for it. You're not missing at all right now.
I mean, you don't gotta tell me what you want. You should know of this character.
Isn't that the
it's Blue's Clues?
Blue's Clues. There you go. That's the
And
dog.
it even has a.
Your nephew probably watches Blue's Clues.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
It has walking feet. The head moves. Obviously, it's tied to the top, but when you take it out, it moves.
Fair enough. What else you got, buddy?
I mean, we already went. You want to get more?
No. Is that all you got?
That's all I have here now.
Thank God. All right. Cool. Moving on.
Wow, you're mean. Stuff the studio, please. Come down.
Oh God, Jeff. We talked about this team building for the future. You brought up yesterday they're not going anywhere, alluding to how young this team is. I believe going into the year they were the third youngest team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and you have a 50% hit rate, at worst, you have 2 potential Pro Bowl starters. And that's what you expect out of first and second round players.
Right.
You're expecting day one starters. You're expecting Pro Bowl type players in the future. That's just the expectation. So if you have a 50% hit rate, you're going to add 2 Pro Bowl players likely on the defensive side of the ball, Jeff. Sky's the limit with their future. And Jared Goff's role in it, we've kind of discussed it for most of the show. I don't think you can question his future in Detroit anymore. Yeah. I don't think that is a trending conversation. I don't think it's the correct narrative to take, because right now the coach and the quarterback over the last 7 games have been checking off a lot of boxes. And for me, if you want me to buy in, if you want me to support and get behind the product you're building, you need to check off certain boxes. Dan Campbell, 7 games into the year, still hadn't had a road win, had a losing record, And it was really, really bad. I believe 4-19-1 at the time. 0-11-1 on the road. Had blown multiple games like he did the year prior and was making the same mistakes. And you're like, wait, what is going on? You have to question what's going on here. But the last 7 games, he's been more dialed in. He's been more calculated. His teams have been more disciplined. He's checking boxes now. Game management, clock management, fourth quarter decisions. Checking boxes now. 2-minute drill, checking boxes. Managing the clock in a 4-minute drill, checking boxes. I can see it now. You're showing me something. I'm not just going off of blind faith or, a feeling. You're giving me substance to work with. So we talk about longevity. We talk about sustainability. Jeff, you've got 2 picks in the first 2 rounds. You've got money in free agency. I don't even think you have to re-sign Jamal Williams. For that fact, you can draft the running back in the 3rd round, hell, even in the 5th and 6th round if you want. I don't care. Brian Robinson is the example. Tyler Algier out in Atlanta is the example.
Right.
You can find these guys, especially when you're able to run the ball and you have a run scheme.
And that offensive line.
You want to talk about sustainability? Jeff, I don't think there's a better scenario or a better foundation being built at the moment, at least in the NFC.
Yeah.
Maybe Philly. I will give you Philly, and then you can argue San Francisco right now is just the made product. But we're talking about put everybody that's in a rebuild in a vacuum. And you tell me what team has the best foundation so far. You're going to say the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very fair to say, no?
Yeah, no, it is. Because you're looking at the assets they haven't even addressed yet, which you talked about it. 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, the money they have coming up. And that's with a team that's already, before you address those assets and you decide who, or Brad Holmes decides who he's taking, the team's 7-7. You're in the playoff hunt. Your playoff hopes are alive. There's real expectations now. Things change. With new evidence, with new information, I'm allowed to change my mind. That's what Neil says and Sam Flannel on Big D Energy. And it's true. Before the season, it was win 8-9 games, contend for the playoffs. Now looking how the NFC is shaping up, you have a legitimate shot to make the playoffs if you win out. Now, if you lose one game, things have to go your way. But to control your own destiny, to win out, win the next 3 games, you're in the playoffs. To think about where they were and where they are now, that's the most impressive thing, and that's before you've signed any significant free agents. That's before you've addressed the 2nd year of having 2 first-round picks. That's before all these players like Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston. These guys are going to get even better next year. So, again, Jared Goff next year is going to be even more comfortable within this system and have a better rapport with his receivers. Jameson Williams, now he's back. You're going to have to establish that relationship, Jared Goff and Jameson, getting that connection down. This team isn't even a finished product. Far from it, quite honestly. And the fact that they're already accomplishing what they're accomplishing this year, at 7-7, they're 500. They have a chance to be above 500. It's extremely impressive. And if we talk about the futures of different teams in the NFL, looking at the assets that the Lions have with the strengths they already have, it's not like they're Houston and just taking an unnecessary shot at Houston. But there's a lot of things you have to address in Houston. With the Lions, this offense is a top 5 offense. Like, the offensive line is one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. Jared Goff's playing like a top 10 quarterback. You have an emerging receiver in Amon-Ra. You have 2 stable tackles in Taylor Decker, who hasn't really given up a sack or pressure the last 6-7 games. But then you have Penei Sewell, who we know what Penei Sewell brings. So again, as a team that's in a rebuild, they're one of the better teams, or at least they're a little ahead of the other teams because of the strengths they have in the offense they already have. They just got to address the secondary. Get another linebacker, maybe add another guy up front, and you'll have the ability to do that this year, possibly, if you can get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. But the fact that they're here, Adam, without addressing those problems yet, or those issues, or those weaknesses on your football team is the most impressive thing. And that's why I bring up they have one of the brighter futures in the NFC, because you're going to bring in 2 first-round rookies. You're going to bring in 2 second-round guys. And with Brad Holmes' hit rate, those guys are going to be contributors, assuming. And then you have free agency. And then you're running it back with this team getting better. Everybody a year older, a year under their belt, with more experience. Tracy Walker returning. the future's bright with the Detroit Lions. That's why when you say, and we echo on this show, you should expect to win the division next year, that's real because of the talent they currently have. So I'm telling you, talk about futures, they have one of the brightest in the NFC. No question about it.
I couldn't agree more, Jeff. Let's take a pause. When we get back, Dan Campbell has the second highest odds to win the NFL Coach of the Year award. And, Jeff, I want you to explain the narrative. I want you to explain the story because I think that award, just like Comeback Player of the Year, is always about the narrative and the story. The story matters so much in these type of awards. So let's go through that when we get back. And then, of course, we'll have Mailbag. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, guys, with the holiday season here, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you to insure those gifts of jewelry or collectibles because in the last 2 weeks, Swiss Insurance has saved its clients on an average of 26% on their insurance premiums while increasing coverage. That's a ton of money to free up for the giving season. Merry Christmas from Swiss Insurance, and don't forget, go Lions.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff-A Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com. as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
It's Motor City Christmas, the most wonderful time of the year. Sleigh bells ring and caroling, songs of love and cheer. Lights shine over me and you, walking down Woodward Avenue.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a safe and Happy New Year from the Feldman Automotive family.
Sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
And we're back. And I got to tell you about my good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. They have decked out the holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge in the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cards, arcades, and much more. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, Dan Campbell, second highest odds to win Coach of the Year.
Yep.
I don't want to hear about your fantasy team problems because I'm playing you in the final this week, bitch. And you're going to have to deal with it.
I know.
Having said that,
I know.
Second highest odds to win Coach of the Year. Walk me through the story, why it makes sense.
Well, currently on FanDuel right now, Nick Sirianni still leads. He's minus 165.
As he should, I think we agree.
As he should. Dan Campbell, though, close second compared to everybody else. Kyle Shanahan's plus 1,200 behind Campbell, but Campbell's plus 175. So he's right behind Nick Sirianni. And I want to pose the path for Dan Campbell to potentially win Coach of the Year. And as impressive as the Eagles have been, they're a fantastic roster. Jalen Hurts had an MVP case up until now the injury. Nick Sirianni's been doing a fantastic job. But there's always a but. Jalen Hurts is injured. We don't know when he's going to come back. He could come back in the postseason. He could miss a game. He could miss 2 games. He could miss the rest of the season and come back in the postseason. Let's pitch a scenario. This would be the path Dan Campbell, to me, would win Coach of the Year. You start Gardner Minshew this week against the Cowboys. They lose. If they have to move forward with Gardner Minshew, and they have a couple losses on their record, and Dan Campbell wins 3 in a row, ends the season 10-7 after starting 1-6, 9-1 over their last 10 games, one of the hottest teams in football. To me, if we talk about feeling and we talk about storyline, Dan Campbell has the best storyline for voting for Dan Campbell. And it was never I mean, before the season, we talked, could Dan Campbell win Coach of the Year? No. I mean, it would be insanely hard considering all the people that would be in contention. Right now, it's a reality. He's second behind Sirianni. In front of Sirianni, you got to win some games with a backup. Because if they lose out, let's just say they lose out, they have one loss, they end the season, and they go 13-4, and the Lions are 10-7. To me, I could make a legitimate case for Dan Campbell and how the Lions were one of the hottest teams over the 10-game stretch of the season. He finished 9-1. You come back down from 1-6. The only other team to do that, to be in that type of deficit and make the playoffs, would be the Bengals in 1970. So we're talking historic accomplishments. I think Dan Campbell has a legitimate case, but two things need to happen, Adam. Eagles need to lose games, and the Lions need to win out. And I do think there's a chance. Although I'm not as confident. I mean, Sirianni's has the entire season as a resume. Don't count out Dan Campbell in this race because the Lions, they're getting love nationally. They're everybody's favorite team. I think Dan Campbell's a legitimate case. It depends how they win the next 3 games. Who's third on that list
for you, if you were to vote? Not on that list, if you were to vote.
I mean, honestly, I kind of agree. It's between Dable or Shanahan to me. Because Dable's been impressive, but also Shanahan. Give me Dable. I think Dable should be third, given the talent on the Giants right now. I think he's been overachieving with them. And as much as I appreciate Kyle Shanahan, I just think as much talent as they have, and defensively, D'Amico Ryans has been doing a great job with that defense. I think Dable gets the slight edge for me at 3.
Wow. See, I'm going to leave you guys with this, okay? I agree. I think Campbell should be second. I think it would take 2 losses to knock off Sirianni. I think 2 losses, 14-3, it kills me. But if the Lions win out, he has to get the award, no? And they clinch a playoff berth after being 1-6. I think it's got to be Dan, but I want to leave you guys with this. This is my favorite stat across the league, and this is to reflect the Detroit Lions and how close they are.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions have scored 369 points. They're 7-7. The Minnesota Vikings are 11-3. How many points have they scored?
300.
351.
Okay.
18 less than the Lions.
Gotcha.
The Lions have given up 364 points on defense. How many have the Vikings given up?
330.
349. You are 15 to 18 points in differential, offense and defense, from 7-7 and 11-3. Now, we know why the Vikings are 11-3. They've won all their one-possession games. That's just the reality.
Right.
But do you see how close it is? So when you or me talk about winning the division next year, I don't want to hear excuses or reasons why not. You're there. You're playing at a level good enough to win that division right now. It's in your hands next year. I can't wait. Let's take a break. When we get back, mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. Jeff and I will be right back. But before we go, I got to tell you about where you need to go to the gym today, and that's Planet Fitness. $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. It's the home of the judgment-free zone, of course. Sign up today by visiting them at a local Planet Fitness or by signing up at planetfitness.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full-line merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed-out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes present Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Okuda gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit with Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. Together, Jeff and Chad have been game planning all year long to make this Christmas one to remember for underprivileged children and their families. Special thanks to Lions players Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, and more, along with Lions alumni Lomas Brown and Joyak Bell, and the awesome people at Lighthouse Coolidge Community Building in Oak Park. Together, we'll make sure every child has new shoes, warm coats, hats, and socks, plus free haircuts to help everyone feel their best. And don't forget Woodward Sports' Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and Darren McCarty will be there too. Hope for the holidays from Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes.
All this week, Woodward Sports is stuffing our studio. Every year, we team up with Mike at Meyer on 12 and Telegraph and Guardian Alarm to kick off the Stuff a Studio. Now we want you to help us stuff our studio full of new unwrapped toys for the children of Mott's Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor. Stop by all week long and drop off a toy from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or send a donation to our Venmo at Woodward Sports, and we'll shop for you. 'Tis the season to give back to the children. Stuff a Studio 2022, powered by Wicked Awesome Wishes.
All right, let's get to Mailbag. We'll answer your questions. Hashtag Mailbag. Dante asks, should the Lions take a look at TCU quarterback Max Duggan and use a 3rd or 4th round pick if he's available?
Jeff? I mean, I don't have an issue with that. If you want to take a flyer, I mean, there's a lot of guys to consider. Tanner McKee, Max Duggan. I mean, if you want to, Hendon Hooker probably wouldn't, but you never know. I mean, if you want to take a flyer on a quarterback, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't hate the decision, just depending on who you pick. Max Duggan isn't bad. He probably isn't the one I'd prefer. We'll see who's available, but it is what it is. I don't mind it.
Todd Sane asks if the 2007 Giants can win the Super Bowl at 9-7, why can't the Lions? Well, there's a big difference.
Okay, you can explain.
The Giants underachieved in the regular season, okay? Eli Manning, I don't know how to explain his playoff runs. I don't. It doesn't make sense. But that was one of the greatest defensive fronts in NFL history.
Thank you.
Michael Strahan, Osi Umenyiora, that was special across the board. It was special. So why not?
I think it.
Yeah, who was it? Justin Tuck, I believe, as well.
Yes, and he was good too.
That was just insane.
Styles make fights, and the Giants matching up with the Patriots. That's the whole style makes fight. I mean, you have an insanely good pass rush against, to me, the greatest show on turf, and what they could do offensively with that Patriots team. So
who's the dude that caught it off the helmet? What's his name? The dude that dated the Playboy model.
Oh my God, I'm blanking.
What's his name?
I just rewatched that clip last week.
What, the Playboy stuff?
No. Oh my God, get out of here. Who is it? Now
David Tyree.
Yes, that's who it was. Thank you. This is why I love the chat.
David Tyree. You're the best chat. Thank you.
Yeah, because my buddy's a Giants fan.
So my question to you is that if the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl, who the hell is David Tyree on this team?
Yeah,
because you're going to need some stupid shit like that to happen.
Yeah, you're gonna need some things to go your way.
You know, when I was a kid, I got really upset about that. By the way,
dude, yeah.
And I wasn't even like a Patriots fan growing up.
You just
obviously
felt
a
the
Lions fan, but like you were watching history, and it was taken from you because some dude had glue on his helmet. And decided to catch a pass, and Eli Manning turned into Michael Vick for 3.5 seconds and escaped sacks from, I think it was Richard Seymour and somebody else. I forget who. No, it wasn't Richard Seymour. Who was it? I forget, guys. I apologize. I was too young.
It was a great play.
Beyond the point. Next question. Jake Cuervo. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was going to read the same one. I'd be curious to go back and see how many players have been a victim to the Malcolm hip toss. Seen another one against the Jets. Yeah, he's throwing offensive linemen like it's nobody's business, man. I love Malcolm. He's a guy that, talk about the future of this team, Malcolm's a bright spot, no doubt about it.
All right, they're asking me to check out the CBS Sports rankings in the NFL. For what? Quarterbacks? For team? What are we doing here? Power rankings? Let's do power rankings. They have the Lions at 15. Okay.
I like this question, too. Cobezilla, Mailbag. 3 months ago, we said the Lions had the worst chance to see a playoff game out of all Detroit teams. Well, for us, it was between the Red Wings and the Lions. Cobezilla says, 3 months ago, we said the Lions had the worst chance to see a playoff game out of all Detroit teams. Yep. Safe to say, now the Lions have the best chance to see a playoff game. Dare I say, win one. Because for us, it was between the Red Wings and the Lions. That was the conversation.
It was the Red Wings 1,
yeah.
The Lions 2, Tigers 3, Pistons 4. That's what our rankings were at the time. And the Lions were 2, not because they had shown you anything special, but because it's the NFL.
Right.
And you can turn it around in a year or 2 or 3, as you should. So that's a different conversation, though, maybe for another day.
Jesse Adams, Mailbag. Jeff, are you guys going to have the Lions pregame show Saturday?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we will. Pregame show on Saturday, Christmas Eve. We grind, baby. We'll be there.
The Lions have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Titans. I buy that. The Titans are not making it out of the AFC. You have to factor the conference they're in, right? You look at the Lions, you're like, they can beat Dallas. They can beat Minnesota. They can compete-ish with Philly and the Niners. Maybe Philly more so than the Niners. I think the Niners would stomp the Lions just because you think the Jets defense gave the Lions problems? Wait till you see the Niners defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Mailbag, what are you guys having for Christmas dinner, Jeff? Do you do anything special for Christmas dinner? We just have like a buffet style. Everybody brings food. They make their best dish. And
that's
everybody,
me too. My mom's cooking up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited.
you Italians are like us. You know, we're basically
food,
the same.
That's just food. That's all.
We blow ourselves up. You eat noodles. You know, here we go. Same culture, man.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, God. One day I'm going to get killed for all this, by the way. But that's it. It's 10 o'clock. We're out of here. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us this morning. Appreciate it as always. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following Woodward Sports wherever you're on social media. For Jeff Iafrate, Adham, Beydoun, as always, Fish, Alex, thank you guys so much. We're out of here. Have a blessed Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Hope for the holidays, 5 to 9 p.m. Charity Day. I can't wait.
Go watch football. Football's here. How do you not?
Oh, God.